Hey everyone, how y'all doing? Welcome back to Cam in Focus and to another episode of Unprovoked Roasts. Now before we begin, don't forget to like and subscribe to Geek News Now and follow us on social media. And don't forget to go up your game with Metallic Dice Games. Head over to metallicdicegames.com and use the code GNN at checkout for 10% off. If you enjoy tabletop gaming, Metallic Dice Games has the stuff for you. Or if you prefer some geeky apparel, head over to rippedapparel.com and use the code GNN10. That's GNN10 at checkout for 10% off of your purchase from that website. They've got all kinds of awesome geeky shirts to choose from, so take a look at their stock and use the code to get some money off. Here we go. So, a while back, I promised everyone that once the Geek News Now YouTube channel hit 1,700 subs, I'd do another rage video about a terrible film. I got quite a few great suggestions that I'm still considering for future videos, but there was one that came to mind. One that lights such a passionate fire in my gut that I briefly become Bend Over Cucumber Snatch from The Hobbit.
Who?
One that I despise so much that I simply could not wait any longer to rip it apart. And by that I mean that I couldn't wait to get this over with so that I'd never have to think about this venereal disease of a film again. Alright, so Street Fighter. It's a pretty major franchise with fans across the globe, with quite a few awesome games, a few decent animes, and a few not so decent films.
Of course!
But there's one that stands head and shoulders above the rest as the absolute worst. The most unambitious, the one that simply gets anything and everything all degrees of wrong. And that would be The Legend of Chun-Li. If you've never seen this movie, consider yourself one of the lucky ones. This movie is loosely based, and when I say loosely, I mean as faithful as House of the Dead is to the light arcade game, on the video game franchise of the same name. I meant it when I said that this movie gets everything wrong. The cast is wrong, the script is wrong, the acting is wrong, the editing is wrong, the story is wrong. Hell, it's a Street Fighter movie, so you'd expect it to have good fights, but screw us sideways because the damn fights are wrong. It's got all the quality of a crappy fan film that you'd find on the YouTube channel of someone who spends way too much time watching Bat in the Sun. I haven't been this pissed off with a video game adaptation since, well, all of them, but still. This film is so uninspired, so lacking in vision and ambition that it seems like a corporate knockoff of a corporate intern's knockoff. All the writers had to do was give us a story that focused on fights, which is something that this film promised in a tease for a sequel that's thankfully never gonna happen. But they couldn't even do that. Don't get me wrong, there are fights here and there, but they're just awful, sloppy, clumsy, uninteresting. Take a look at this damn editing. Every single movement is chopped up into so many cuts that are meant to fool your brain into thinking some kind of stunt work is happening that it's almost nausea-inducing. It keeps on giving me flashbacks to Colombiana. Everything that makes these characters fun and unique in the games is just 100% absent in the movie. Like Balrog being an Olympic-level boxer, Chun-Li being an Interpol officer, Bison's psycho power, Rose being his disciple instead of his daughter, Bison desiring only world domination and acquisition of knowledge of martial arts through defeating other capable opponents. Okay, yeah, they got a lot wrong with Bison specifically, but everyone else too. And Vega, good God. One of the coolest characters in the franchise, and he's played by Taboo from the Black Eyed Peas. He functions as a bland caricature of the badass he is in the games and animes. And what the hell is up with that voice?
You bitch! I'll cut you open! You think this is over?
It's like he's trying to submit a verse to an old Paul Wall song, but got rejected because it was too deep.
You think this is over?
Speaking of voices, I am 100% convinced that most of the dialogue is dubbed. Nothing ever seems to match up 100%. The only character who seems like he speaks his own lines is this guy.
His name's Bison. And I've tracked him through 11 major cities on 4 continents and never come close, not once. This guy walks through the raindrops.
Who is he? Well, he's a cop and he's a badass. Why do we know he's a badass? Because he walks like he has a spinal deformity. And my God, the cheese. The cheese!
You just inherited a big problem. An irate pole dancer not happy with her tip sets off Armageddon. Keep spitballing that, Maya. I love where your head's at. Dash out!
As far as I can tell, he's the only one who looks like he's trying to have fun on set. But he's another character that has literally nothing to him. He, like Chun-Li's eventual teacher, unfortunately played by none other than Liu Kang himself, only serves the plot by showing up where he's needed, finding out what he needs to find out, and saying what needs to be said. Speaking of what needs to be said, good God. This script is literally nothing but exposition. Nothing but exposition. Every character interaction is centered around talking about the plot, or describing someone's backstory, or the reason someone's doing something. I can see that some of the actors, Kristen Crook in particular, are really, trying sometimes, but the script gives them nothing to do. Any characterization moments that the script could have given us are sacrificed for more and more exposition. As far as the plot itself, it follows the typical trope that emerged in the early 2000s of a family member being taken away and someone having to travel internationally to find them. But once that part of the story is over, so is the story. And no spoilers or anything. Okay, yes, spoilers, because I'm sure you don't actually care. Not that I recommend this movie anyway. Chun-Li's father works for Bison. He was taken and he's killed in front of her about 2/3 of the way into the movie. Even during their brief reunion, he says nothing but freaking exposition. Ugh. Once he's killed, all semblance of story disappears. What follows is just another sequence of events meant to bring all the characters together by the end. And it doesn't even feel natural. Like, Chun-Li goes to the badass cop dude for help, but why? How does she know who he is? She's never met him. She didn't know his name. He's not even from the same country she's in. They had literally never even had one single interaction before she just shows up at his house. The plot has more contrivances than Shyamalan in the middle of his career trying to convince us that mythical creatures appear in people's pools. In fact, the whole film feels like that. It's just a hollow set of contrived events meant to ensure the plot continues to happen. Nothing feels logical or earned. It's almost like someone is reading us a story, and the start of every chapter begins with, somehow this happens. Because that's really how it is. Somehow this person finds this person. Somehow this person finds this out. Somehow this happens. Somehow that happens. Somehow these people meet. It never makes sense. And everything meaningful that the plot could have conveyed, that could have been strong, is shown to us in a montage that breezes by with no real weight or real meaning to it. And I just gotta bring to attention, who the hell is this lady? We know she works for Bison, and we know Chun-Li knows that, but, okay, she tries to seduce her in a club? What the hell is up with this awkward dance? Okay, yeah, that's not dancing, that's just rolling your shoulders with the hiccups. And it leads to the absolute worst fight scene in the whole film. I mean, look at this. At no point during this fight do the characters ever feel like they're in danger because the editing cuts out literally every single moment of contact or trauma. It looks so fake it would give WWE a run for its money. Pardon me while I go vomit and put on John Wick to cleanse my damn palate. Okay, yeah, this movie is atrocious. Absolutely atrocious in every way. It fails on every level. Acting, editing, direction, cinematography, fight scenes, choreography. This movie just had to have good fight scenes. That's all it had to have. And it would have been watchable. But it couldn't even manage that. With the director who gave half a damn about what he was doing, this movie could have been just a fun throwaway fighting film, but it couldn't even manage to be that. Avoid this film at all costs. Okay, I'm done. I am done with this movie. Never touching it again. I don't hate it quite as much as Artemis Fowl, but yeah, it's up there. It's definitely up there. Have you seen it? What'd you think about it? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe to Geek News Now, and follow us on social media. Links for everything in the description below. And don't forget, metallicdicegames.com, code GNN, and rippedapparel.com, code GNN10. And thank you so much for 1,700 subscribers. Here's hoping that we reach 2,000 soon. Have a wonderful day, everybody.